Hi everyone, and welcome to Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising Spiritual Connection Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and meaning-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. All of my content on this YouTube channel, along with on my website, is here to help show you the importance of the Triad of Engagement, which is a tool that I have developed that works with the three basic principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and shows you how when you utilize these together, it can help keep you fully engaged and feeling in flow with the unique energetic imprint of your life. Additionally, all readings here are here to help provide you with additional self-awareness to help you answer your very own I am question so that you can re-engage with life in a more authentic, meaningful, and emotionally fulfilling way. If you guys are interested in learning more about the Triad of Engagement, I have a couple links in the description box below. One is more for visual learners, which is me, and one is more for conceptual learners, which is just me chatting about the concept of the Triad of Engagement. All right, Scorpio, we're going to jump right in and talk about how well you are taking your unique spiritual self and connecting it to your external environment, which is in desperate need of you and your gifts. So we're going to start here by pulling a card or cards for your energy to see what you're sitting with on a personal level right now. Now, as I sit here and, pull some cards. So we have two cards for you, Scorpio. We have the Two of Wands and the Seven of Wands. Now, right off the bat here, what I'm seeing is somebody who is making a decision to basically change the vision of the life that you have. Because the Two of Wands is making a decision between kind of where you go from here, from this point forward. It's where you get a chance to take a look at your life. You get a chance to see what you want your life to look like from this point forward. And then you make a choice to take action to move towards that. Coupled with the Seven of Wands, which is a place where we can take a pause to check in with ourselves to see, is our action, is our passion worth defending? As you can see here, it looks like it's a man who is having to defend himself against other people who have wands who are coming to challenge him. And so I'm getting this feeling right now, Scorpio, that you're kind of sitting with perhaps a new vision for your life, and you're at this point where you're wondering, is this something I should follow? And you're feeling a little defensive around it. Not in the way that, in a negative sense, but in a way that you want to protect it. And you're wondering, is this a new vision for myself that I should continue to fight for? Now let's see what is the energy for your external environment and really what you're being called to engage with to help unlock a unique part of yourself, a necessary unique part of yourself that the external world is in need of. All right, what is Scorpio being asked to engage with? I have this deck kind of pulled apart into different groupings. Ooh, so sometimes it takes a little while for these to come out. All right, so we have the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is a major arcana card that speaks to seeing your external environment from a different perspective. It is a divine pause, which is similar to actually this, which is also kind of a pause for you to be able to reevaluate. So we have that going on internally, and we have you being asked right now to engage taking this energy of having a new vision for your life and engaging that with your external environment, because you're basically being asked by the divine to do so because it's going to help provide you with a new perspective on perhaps this decision that you're making, or trying to figure out if this is basically an action worth defending, worth moving forward with. Now I'm going to pull some cards here for what I call the void. Now the void is something that I go into detail about in the visual video for the Triad of Engagement. So for anybody who wants to hear a little bit more about that, you can click on that link. Otherwise, I will describe it a little bit here. So the void is what we create as we move from childhood into adulthood, and we engage the unique internal aspects of ourselves with our external environment. And what ends up in this void is fear, anxiety, frustration, disconnection. Because this void is created and grown each time, I'm just going to put these out here, each time we bring a part of ourselves out into our external environment and we get a negative response. Whether this is something where we bring a part of ourselves out to engage with our external environment and it is made fun of or ridiculed, or whether it's something where we bring a part of ourselves out and we simply fail in the process and we perceive it as negative instead of a learning experience. And so what ends up happening is we end up creating this void layer by layer, fear point by anxiety point, by frustration, and we become eventually disconnected from our external environment. So what was originally started as a way for us to put a layer of protective masking or create a barrier between us and the external environment, which would protect this part of ourself that we tried to bring out and didn't quite get the best response from, then becomes a void. It's now this giant moat in between us and the external environment. And this is where we become disconnected. This is where we become disengaged, where we go through the motions because we each have to somehow engage with our external environment, but we end up doing so in an inauthentic way. We are not bringing any part of ourselves forward out of fear and anxiety, and simply just going through the motions. And this is where we become emotionally disconnected, where we don't feel anything. We don't feel that we're bringing or doing anything of value because we're not. So it's very important to be aware of what is sitting in your void so that you can start to utilize the Triad of Engagement to cross over this void and re-engage your internal unique self with your external environment so that you can start to feel connected again. So what I'm seeing right here in your void is we start with the Nine of Swords, we have the King of Wands, Princess of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. We have the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Wands. So what I'm seeing here, now these first two cards, the first card here is really that first layer of protective, it's the first layer of protective barrier that then everything else kind of builds on top of. So the Nine of Swords specifically is a card of worry. It's the thoughts specifically. So the Nine of Swords depict the air element and relate to our thoughts directly. So these are the learned negative thought patterns that we have, where we can become obsessively worried about something and stuck in our heads. These are the thoughts that keep us up at night. The what if this happens and this is the negative outcome? What if this happens and this is the negative outcome? And in reality, they're all just, as much as the monster hiding under your bed is an illusion, so is the Nine of Swords. These are simply thoughts. They're what ifs based on based on your belief that a negative outcome will happen, when the reality is that for every what if, there's always a beneficial and a negative outcome possibly, but it's also your perspective of it. So what I'm seeing here is there's a lot of overthinking and a lot of learned negative worry that's in direct conflict with the King of Wands energy, which the King of Wands is, to me, the CEO energy. It's the energy of someone who is at the top of their game, who acts decisively from a place of passion, who really understands deep within himself. Now, obviously, this could also be pertaining to you as a female. It's just holds more of a masculine energy, which is more of an outward energy. But he is able to act from that place of passion because he's in touch with what he sees for his kingdom. He is a king. He is at the top of his game, as I said. So he is the one that gets a chance to make that decision and choose that vision for his kingdom, and then he takes decisive action on it. He's not going to sit and worry about all of these negative what ifs, because that's not going to allow him to take decisive action. So there's something here where in the past, I see that you guys have probably made a decision where you had to make a choice for which way you wanted your life to go. And perhaps it didn't work out well. It didn't have the best outcome. Maybe it, and you might have been ridiculed for it, because when I see here the defensive element and I see the Seven of Wands again, there's this element of having to come from this place of defending your choice, because the last time you did something, you made a broad choice on this level, and you followed a passion, it might not have worked out in certain people's eyes. Now, you might actually feel that it worked out for you. Again, these are the perspectives that we take on that, but perhaps in your family's eyes, this didn't work, your choice didn't work, or in the eyes of others who you held in high esteem, you failed. And so now you have a lot of pent-up resistance to making a change for yourself and wondering, can I really be the CEO of my life? Can I really step up into this energy and fulfill it? And instead, you're being blocked right now by negative thought patterns, by all these worries that are just mere illusions. They just exist in your head. These are not realities. These are just the negative. Well, what if I do this? What if I make this choice and this happens? What if I make this choice and this happens? Well, you can play that all you want, but in reality, until you make that choice, you won't know. And so you can stay stuck trying to make this decision and wondering if it's something worth defending and taking action on, or you can just stay tortured in your own thoughts. And now we move into basically the Page of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. So the Page of Pentacles is about gathering information. It's about going out into the world as kind of this innocent, childlike element of playing with something in the tangible world. And I have this feeling that with the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Wands, that there's this element of not feeling like there's support for you. The Queen of Cups is a very caring energy. It's the nurturing mother archetype of understanding that she holds the cup of pure love and emotion, and she keeps that within herself. And she's able to actually be a very stabilizing, steady force because of that, because she's very aware of this love and emotional abundance that she holds within herself. And there's this element of almost wanting to, basically right now you're being asked to make a decision. And this is what I'm seeing here. You're being asked to make a decision, but you're stuck in this negative thought pattern of worry. Instead of realizing that you're the king of your own kingdom, so to speak. And it's time for you to make a decision based on passion, no matter what's happened in the past. And possibly what's preventing you right now from really moving forward, in addition to the negative thought patterns, is that you are going to have to kind of come out as a page first, that you're going to have to get information, that you're going to have to kind of be the mother to yourself at the same time, that you might not have this supportive element in your life as you come out in this childlike innocence of wanting to, in the physical world, start to gather more information. This could be going back to school, making the choice to go back to school, or starting to work with a gift that you have or an ability on a small level. So maybe you're thinking about starting your own business and you're just starting to lay the foundations for that. You're just starting to talk to somebody to build a website. You're just starting to gather the information as to what this would entail to build this business. And where I'm seeing kind of this conflict come in is that lack of motherly support, that lack of, you might have to defend your actions again to this supportive female figure that you are not perhaps seeing eye to eye with, and maybe never have. And maybe that's your worry, that your worry is that I'm going to have to go out and make this decision again to follow another passion, to follow my new vision for life. And I'm going to have to do it where I am going to have to kind of start at this beginner level, and I'm going to have to defend it. And maybe you don't want to defend it. Maybe you don't want to go back into this energy, and that's why you're going back and forth. But what you're being asked to do is face the fear, the learned negative patterns, to get over that, to face saying, no, you do have the upper hand. This is your passion. You get to make that choice. Everybody else has their right to their passions as well, but it's not theirs. I really like this depiction versus this depiction. So you have 2 7 of Wands. This is where you feel like you're having to fend off an attack. And this is more like him holding up his wand and saying, no, this is mine. Everybody else can have theirs, but this is mine. And that's what you're being asked to engage with here as you come into engagement with your external environment, because by being able to see your passion, your vision in a new light, in a more, I'm going to take ownership of my life with my passion and create my kingdom. This isn't just me making a simple decision now coming from passion. This is me making a decision to build my kingdom. And yes, if I choose to do that, I'm going to start to see changes in my external environment. And perhaps with the Hanged Man, there has been a pause. Maybe you've been forced to sit and wait. Maybe this is something about changing jobs and things haven't quite started moving yet. And so you've been forced to kind of sit with this energy. But it's all meant to allow you to come to terms with this. Additionally, this could simply just mean that in making this decision and starting to engage out here, that is going to allow you to see this internal struggle in a new light, to realize this isn't even a struggle after all. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. all I have to do is start taking action. And if I have to be seen as, low man on the totem pole for a while as I start to build what I really want for myself, well, then so be it. The King of Wands had to start somewhere as well. But the beauty of the Page of Pentacles is that she's actually going out and doing something physically. She's not stuck in her head. She's not, trying to figure out where her passion comes from. You already know your passion. You already have it. You already know what you want to, what lights your fire, so to speak. But now it's about learning how to apply that in the tangible world, how to start making changes so that you can start working with it here, taking it out of yourself and bringing it into the tangible world. So now I'm going to pull some cards down here for the Triad of Engagement, which is going to show us how to help you bridge this void to be able to engage successfully and to help navigate across these negative thought patterns and this fear of having to perhaps once again defend yourself to someone that you don't want to, that you are hoping will just love you for who you are and nurture you for who you are. But unfortunately, you might just have to, at this point, say, this is just me. You can all do whatever you want to do, but this is just me. Okay, so Scorpio, let's pick a card. So we're going to pull a card for curiosity, a card for courage, and a card for contemplation. So curiosity is where we build the bridge over the void. So at this point with the void, we are stuck. We are right here. Step one, can't get past, can't compute, can't get through the negative worry and the what if. And what curiosity does is it opens us back up in an optimistic, receptive way to the external environment again. It allows us to tap into the childlike version of curiosity where we don't feel that we have all the answers and we don't bring our learned negative expectations that have happened as we've engaged with our external environment, meaning we don't bring with curiosity, well, I wonder what's going to happen. It's probably going to be this because the last time I did that, this happened. Instead, we are building that bridge again to say, okay, in the past, this is what happened, but things have changed now. So now I'm curious, why am I being called to make this decision for my life? And where we have the card here for the energy around curiosity is the garden and the gate. And I love this card because it really shows this very hard decision, this hard energy that we are all faced with at some point in our life, which is we get to be in, at some point, we get to kind of find our own kind of cushy, beautiful garden for ourselves. And you can see this girl is standing in front of a gate and she has a key around her neck. A key to unlock the gate to go out into all of this outside of her garden. But her garden is pretty darn nice. It's beautiful. It's got lush flowers and she seems to be doing well, but clearly she's wondering about what's out beyond her gate, showing a level of dissatisfaction with what she has on her side of the gate. And this is where we get to this point where we are faced with engaging with the unknown. Now she could very easily unlock that gate and go out into the unknown, and there could be so many opportunities out there for her, so many positive opportunities. But instead she's sitting here fearful, wondering, well, yes, I want more, but what if what I think seems nice out here, what if it rains? What if I can't find shelter? What if I'll never have as much as I have right now? And this is what all of us wrestle with at some point. We wrestle between security and safety and growth. and we're all asked to continue to grow and evolve. We're all on a process of a path of transcendence, of transcending who we were born as and transcending into who we were meant to become. And right now for curiosity, I think it's just about being open. It's about realizing that you can open these gates and you're meant to continue this evolutionary path. The reason why you're feeling a need to make a choice and pick a new direction in your life is because you're not satisfied anymore with what you currently have. So it's okay to be open. It's okay to make that choice. It's okay to say, I have a new passion and I'm going to go out into the world and use it. And I see a new vision for myself. I can build even more than I have here out there. So this is really about being open. And again, you have to fight those negative thought patterns. So you have to build the bridge of curiosity based on, what if I could have this times 10? In fact, what if what lies out there is something that will exceed beyond my wildest expectations? And that's what's tapping into the beauty of curiosity, is that you get to tap back into the the wonder and awe that life holds for us. That we are continually awed by what we cannot know in our limited experience. So open yourselves up, Scorpios, to that there is a possibility that you're going to see this all in a new light, and you're going to see something out here that you would have never seen otherwise. All right, now I'm going to pull a card for courage. And courage is where we get to tap into our ability to make decisions and take action based on our unique spiritual self. This is where we actually get a chance to, it's not enough just to build the bridge, because we can what if in a positive way just as much as we can what if in a negative way all day long. Well, what if I leave the gate and there's wonderful things out there, and you finally start to change your perspective. But if you never actually engage with life, if you never actually leave your garden, it doesn't matter. It's still as ineffectual as you worrying from a negative component. This is where we can get stuck in fantasizing instead of actually realizing. So courage is what allows us to actually courageously walk across that bridge and actually have to engage, actually have to make that decision, actually have to defend it and make it known to others in our lives that we're doing this. So the card that we have for our seed of courage is surrender frustration. It says frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. And I think this is perfect. When we think about the fact that you probably do feel quite frustrated that you have a version of your life that you want for yourself, are being faced now with making that decision to move towards. But there is this knowledge that there are people in your life that perhaps don't approve, or that haven't approved in the past and are not going to approve again. And that's frustrating. That's incredibly frustrating. To know that you might have to pick up the same fight. Or it's frustrating to know that you're the CEO of your own life, that you hold all of this passionate power, and yet you are not able to realize it for yourself. That you can see it, but are you actually doing it? And that's really where we can become frustrated as well, where we know we hold so much more within us and we want so much more for our lives, but we're not actually taking action towards it because we're afraid. So this is saying surrender that frustration, release it, because you're having the opportunity now to go out into your life and realize this. And it's okay if you have people in your life who are not going to support you. That's just unfortunately life. We can't control others. And I think that's a big lesson here, Scorpio. And I know it's one that I wrestle with myself, is that we oftentimes get frustrated and we think, well, we have to control other people's reactions to what we choose to do. And the reality of it is we can't control other people's actions. If somebody wants to be unhappy about our choices, or they want to judge our choices, well, that's on them. But we can try all we want to change their opinion and to try to defend our actions, but in reality, at the end of the day, that person's going to choose how they react to that. So the only way we can change our current experience, our external environment, is if we change from the inside. Is if we release that frustration that comes with not feeling we're where we want to be. That frustration of not getting approval where we want to get approval. And we just say, you know what? I hold the key. I hold the key to my future, my decision, my destiny. And no one's going to hold me back. All right, now I'm going to pull a card for contemplation. And contemplation is our ticket back across the bridge. It's what allows us to come back, have the courage to come back and sit with ourselves and reflect and integrate when we now brought this part of ourselves in connection out into connection with our external environment, what happened? What were the consequences of our action to walk across this bridge and engage? What did our actions bring? And this is where we get a chance to really grow on that spiritual and emotional level. We get a chance to self-educate through direct experience. It's the cheapest form of education. We have Star Mother. It says, how can you mother yourself? And boy, doesn't that just line up with what's going on over here. You have within you the ability to mother yourself. We all hold our own cup of love and emotional fulfillment from the divine. It's difficult. I completely understand, because we all want that mothering influence in our life to approve of what we do. We want to have that love brought to us. But unfortunately, this is a hard lesson that each one of us at some point will have to learn, is that it's on us to fill our own cup. It's on us to nurture ourselves. There's that saying of, put your own oxygen mask on yourself first before you go to help another. And it's kind of that concept of, you have to be the mother, your own mother. You have to be the one to support yourself and dig deep and say, no, I am highly capable of bringing into reality anything that I want. Especially when it comes from a true place of passion for me. And when you come back and contemplate here, really what it's about is to see your relationship with how perhaps supportive figures in your life, when they haven't supported you, how that's affected you. And how now you can, instead of utilizing this as the void to prevent yourself from having to engage with that, you can simply come back and say, I hold my cup of emotional fulfillment. Even if I can't get that externally, I hold it within myself, and I'm going to love myself enough to know that it's okay that I have a vision for my life, because only I can live my life, right? That's the way it works. No one else can live your life for you. You have your life, just as your parents have their lives, and your boss has his or her life, and your children have their lives. No person can live a life for somebody else. We have to live our own lives, and that involves making choices for ourselves. And so it isn't about being frustrated that things aren't going right. It's about realizing the seat of power is within you. You get to make those choices. No one else can make those choices for you, nor can they hold you back from making those choices. This is really beautiful. All right, Scorpio, I'm going to pull some additional clarifying cards for your energy and for your external energy, and we'll see what comes out here. Let's see, any clarifying cards? Ooh, Page of Swords. Let's see if anything else wants to come out. So Page of Swords is about gaining context and clarity in working with your truth. And ooh, Death reversed. Very interesting. Okay. So right off the bat here, so Death is your card, Scorpio, in the tarot. Now, you don't have to be scared. It doesn't have to just be death. Death represents a component of life, that we have to have death, right, to understand life. And it's also a card of transformation and rebirth. So, because for everything that dies, something is born. Matter is always just transforming. It doesn't actually go away. So what I'm seeing here with Page of Swords and Death reversed is there's this element of gaining clarity and insight, gaining some type of context on a part of yourself you've been too afraid to let go of. That there's this element here of a release, of letting something go. And now you're gaining clarity on that. The Page of Swords is about working with your truth in kind of a more innocent, naive way. It can also be a card of getting more information or even spying. I look at this as gaining context, that you're looking at something through the eyes of your personal truth, but trying to figure out how that fits into this greater picture. So really with engaging with your external environment and really making this choice to see a vision of your future and going for it, you're going to get clarity, or at least the start of some clarity for a part of yourself you have been holding on to and haven't wanted to let transform. And I'm going to pull some cards now for the Hanged Man. Let's see, any additional information for the Hanged Man? We have the Moon. Let's see. Ooh, and this one just wanted to come out. Oh, and the Six of Coins. Beautiful. So the Moon is a card of basically the unknown. It's a card of a lack of clarity. A card of, can you walk this path on faith? Can you be able to tap into your intuition and faith in self to move forward out into the world? Because if you think about the moon in general, if you were walking forward on a moonlit night, you can see a little bit, but you can't see everything. You can see shadows, you can kind of make out shapes, and you can choose to use negative thought patterns and see those shapes as something wild and crazy and scary, or you can have faith that those shapes are just benign objects like a rock or a tree or a car you have to move around, that they're not monsters or people waiting to get you. And with the Six of Coins is where there's a balancing out in the physical world. It's where you start to see, you get back what you've put in. And it's the understanding that at some point all of us have to be in a place of receiving, and all of us will be in a place of being able to give. So there's this reciprocity of stuff, of things in the tangible world. So reciprocity of time, reciprocity for money, reciprocity for anything else that you might have given that is of value in the tangible world. And so there's this element of seeing what you feel is unknown, that at this point you might feel that you have put time and energy in towards something and you haven't been receiving anything in return. So there's this lack of clarity as to what am I getting back? And what you're going to do is, by engaging this part of yourself, you're going to see that there's a part of where the lack of clarity stems from is there's a part of yourself you've needed to let die. Probably the part of yourself that's been looking for some type of recognition from another, a part of yourself that didn't have the self-confidence to know that you have the ability to be the king of your own kingdom, and a part of yourself that wasn't probably allowing yourself to work with your truth, a part of yourself that you were not allowing yourself to see fully and feel into what you wanted to do. And over here, as you are being asked to engage, what you're going to see is there will be some clarity around what you've put in and where you're going to get back. That there will be this balancing out. That when you go out here, and if you choose to take courageous action and go out into this world and you're making that sacrifice, that the universe is going to meet you halfway to say, you had faith. You had faith, you took courage, you went out. And now I'm going to show you, I'm going to provide you with a return on your investment. It might not be crazy big, but you're going to be able to see something that seemed kind of murky and there's a lack of clarity around it. You're going to see it in a new light. You're going to see it as, oh, that's why I felt, was asked to do this and I took it on, and that's why, or that's why I feel at this moment I need to make this decision, because this is what was coming in for me. But there is this element of realizing that you're going to start to see that the universe is working with you, that you will be supported as you go out into your journey, that there's always going to be this, it's almost like this faith and understanding that if you choose to be courageous and start to work towards your vision, which is difficult. That's a very difficult thing to do because it could mean a lot of changes. Not everybody is meant to be a CEO. Not everybody is meant to, and not everybody likes to be around a CEO. So you might have people in your life that as you start to follow your path and you start to really show your passion and you let this kind of fear around working with your truth come out, that there are people that might not support you. But what you're going to realize in turn is that that support that you feel you're lacking or that you're not receiving is going to actually be turned on its head, and you're going to see the benefits that are going to come in for you in the tangible world. So that if you have to give up perhaps an aspect of your job to start to walk out and fulfill this other side of yourself, that you're going to see why you're being called to do that and how it's going to actually lead to more financial abundance in your life. This is a very nice reading, actually, because it really shows that you hold the power to make this big decision in your life right now to start moving towards really stepping into creating the life for yourself based on your own passion. And if you're worried about is it worth defending? Yes, it's your passion, it's your vision, it's your life. And it's time to release some aspect of yourself that's needed to die, for a long time. And when I say die, I don't mean that you have to die. I mean, there's a part of yourself, a part of something that you've been clinging to, a truth that might not have been yours. That's really what I'm getting out of this, is that there's an element here of not having correct context around a truth that you've held for yourself and not wanted to see the reality of, to realize that this is tied to whoever this is in your life. And then that needs to die away so that you can step fully into your seat of personal power. All right, Scorpio, I hope that this has been a good and empowering reading for you. I look forward to next spiritual connection reading for you guys. Your readings are always so incredibly powerful. And I would love to work one-on-one with you. So if you would like to book a personal reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Have a fantastic rest of your day, Scorpio, and I will see you at your next reading. Bye.